Welcome, everybody. This is another rowdy class. Yeah, I hope we don't get as rowdy as we did on Monday because that was pretty wild. Today, we're doing a song for Christmas that I've never taught before. Um, so, this is going to be interesting, but I do like the arrangement I did. The problem is, I tweaked presets so much that when I wrote them up, they came out a little bit goofy. You will learn how to push buttons on your organ if you can get through these. Otherwise, yeah, that one's yours. Yep, that one's yours. Otherwise, just push 50s love songs. Okay, that's your ballad. Variation 0. Or 50s love songs on an easy 4. Oh, here comes Ron. Is rock pianist. Rock pianist, Hal. Okay? And then just add some drums. And instead of the piano player over here, you want to choose a country guitar. And then you want to put Christmas chimes down here. Okay? So you want your rock or your country guitar up here, and you want your Christmas chimes down here on the second one. Or just put your country guitar here and you'll be fine. All right?
Dawn,
For the rest,
what was the name of the song again?
Please Come Home for Christmas. What do we actually know about this? It's
All
a
right,
nice song. It was written in 1960 and released the same year by American blues singer and pianist Charles Brown, the original Charlie Brown. It peaked at number 76 and it appeared on the Christmas singles chart for 9 seasons, hitting number 1 in 1972. The Eagles did this in 1978, and that's where I remember it from. And it peaked at number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100. Okay, so it's a 70s song, so keeping in with our 70s and 60s. It peaked at number 18 on Billboard, and John Bon Jovi also did this in 1992 on his holiday album called A Very Special Christmas 2. And he kind of did it in the style of the Eagles. So what I'm trying to do is combine the Charles Brown blues version with the Don Henley Eagles version. So I'm trying to combine both of those. So you're going to find some elements from each one. Now you remember the Eagles are very heavy duty on the guitars. So we're going to do a lot of guitar work on this if you choose to do so. There's also a piano in here. There's also Christmas chimes in here. And I think you'll like it. I'm going to play it. And listen for the changes. Listen for the changes because I did some interesting things. And they're not that hard. It's just that when I wrote it, it's kind of vague. So here we go. Please come home for Christmas. All right. Let's see. I'm all set up here. Okay. Good.
Excellent, Dawn. Just excellent.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. I had fun with it. I did. I did. So I struggled with it. And again, because I'd never done this one before, so I wasn't quite sure what rhythms to use. But I did use two rhythms. I did use two rhythms. Not at the same time, of course, but
Yes, very
so
pretty. Never heard that before.
yeah, yeah. No, you probably hear it on the radio every year. So that's
I
just a
don't have that one in my repertoire of Christmas music, and I love country, so this is perfect.
yeah, yeah. This is good because it gives you all those guitars to use, and it's
What was
also
the
more bluesy. It's got that bluesy feel to it, and I did change the road map just a little bit. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. Let's do the road map.
Dawn, what was the tempo you used?
I use 64 beats per minute. So if you're going to the 50s love songs, make sure you slow it down to 64. And you want to make sure that you really blues it out. And with the alter style, it's going to give you those high pianos. So we'll go over everything that I did, but let's do the road map first, because that's the most important thing if you're going to just sit down and play it. Um, the words are very nice too. Bells will be ringing, the sad, sad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. My baby's gone. I have no friends. To wish me greetings, there's your first ending. To wish me greetings once again. And then at the end of that the first ending, you have your dots, the end of the first measure. So make those a color. Where are they going back to? The dots at the beginning of the song. And that's going to give you verse 2. Choirs will be singing Silent Night, Christmas carols by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. Please come home for Christmas. If not for, okay, read the lyrics right there. You want to put, upside down, a colorful 2. And then you're going to go to the second ending, which is the second measure on the top line of page 155, or it might be in a different book, so the second page. If not for Christmas, by New Year's night. And then you go to the bridge of send salutations, sure as the stars shine above. For this is Christmas, yes, Christmas, my dear. It's the time of, turn the page, year to be with the one you love. Now, I added a whole extra measure in the middle. So what I'm actually doing is that last measure on top of that page, I'm actually dividing into 2 measures. So you want to make a great big line, and you're going to divide it into 2 measures. And don't worry about the timing of it, because you'll figure it out just by playing it.
And there where the two rests are?
Yes, right in between where the 2 rests
That
are,
was my
correct.
question too.
Yes,
Okay.
good question. Just put a dividing line there because we're going to make it 2 measures. And again, you're going to have to put a little half rest in the first measure, and you're going to have to put a half rest in that second measure to make them come out right. But it'll feel right. You'll be able to do it once you figure out what I did. Then you keep going. Tell me you'll never more roam. Christmas and New Year will find you home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy once again. Now, the first time he does not go up and do those 3 Christmas. He does not do those 3, the triplets there the first time. He just does once again. Now, at the end of the song, I want you to write D-S al coda. Go back to the silly sign and look for the coda. Now we have to make a silly sign because that's supposed to be the end of the song right there. So you're going to put D-S al coda, and you can make that a color. Oh, let's use green. Okay. So make that D-S al coda, and you want to also put an L, meaning you're going to go to the lower keyboard. Where
Where are
is
you
the
gonna
silly
put it?
sign? The silly sign is actually back at the beginning of the song.
Oh,
Okay? Now you can put it all the way back at the beginning so you can do your pickup notes, or you can put it at where the dots are. Does not matter, because you're actually going to play those pickup notes, bells will be. So you can actually put it at the beginning of the song if you want.
Oh, so you want to go where the no chord is?
Yep,
Okay.
because you're going to want to play those. Now, and when you're playing it, it'll feel right, because you're going to go back
Oh,
to the
okay.
beginning, and you're going to go to the lower keyboard, and that's when you pick up, whoops, you're going to pick up your saxophone solo. So the saxophone
Yep.
solo, you want to actually get those pickup notes in there. And if you add an extra measure, who cares? It's your song.
Dawn,
Yes.
Dawn, are you going to be sending the music to Robert as well with these changes that you're
No,
making?
I hadn't planned on it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so if you take notes, go
Yeah.
go back on page read and you'll be able to get it.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when we go over the chords, I'll show you what we did. Yep. Yep. Yeah,
Oops.
Dottie's here asking me what I did when I added the extra measure on the third page. But we'll go over that when I do chords. Okay, so now we do the silly sign, and you're going to do sax solo. So you want to put a big L, because you're going to be doing the saxophone solo. Well, guess what? If you have a smaller instrument and you don't have a sax solo, you could do it on the Christmas chimes. Or you could just repeat the guitar that's here. That's fine. That's fine. But if you follow the presets, you will have a saxophone on the bottom. Now, what you need to know is, where is the two coda? We have to write it in.
Right.
So your sax solo goes all the way line 1, line 2, third line between the first and second measure, so the middle of the third line.
Oh,
Okay, you're going to put a 2 coda. Middle of the third line, 2 coda. And you want to make that little, like a periscope. 2 coda. Coda send you forward. Where is the coda? That's what you need to know now. Did I even write one in?
Yes, you did. Last page, second from the bottom.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Last page. I didn't look far enough. It's the last page, second to the last line. And you're going to write in some extra lyrics back on page 1. Right under my babies. See where those 3 G's are? And please come home for. You're going to write right underneath there, there'll be no. There'll be no. And when you jump to the coda, sorrow. Okay? There'll be no sorrow, no grief or pain, and I'll be happy Christmas once again. And then you're going to write second time stop at the end of the song.
oh, uh-huh.
And I'm going to give you some stuff to put in the margin underneath to make your ending. Okay. The coda is on the third page, 1, 2, 3, fourth line, the beginning of the fourth line, right before the word sorrow.
2, 3.
Okay, any questions about the roadmap?
Dawn, can you repeat that after you said where the coda was? I didn't get it.
The coda is on the third page,
Yes.
1, 2, 3, fourth line, the beginning of the fourth line. That's your coda. So on page 1, when you go back to the beginning to play your saxophone solo, and I'll play the song again so you can figure it out. Line 3, where you have please come home for Christmas, you want to write the words under please come home, there'll be no, just like it is at the end of the third page, line 3, there'll be no sorrow. There'll be no sorrow, no grief or pain.
Okay.
So that way your lyrics are consistent as well. Okay, let's do some extra chords. Why? Because I can. I know. G is good at the top of page 154 or your first page. The G is good for 2 counts. Beat 3, which is over that second quarter rest, put in a G major 7. G, capital M-A-J 7. Your 2 notes are F sharp, G.
You put in that?
I'm putting that on the top line, the third beat. The G is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 is a G major 7, and that's over the second quarter rest. Then in line 1 of the next, or I'm sorry, the first measure of line 2, you have a G7, put a box around it so you play it. So you're actually playing G for 2 counts, G major 7, G7, make sure you play that G7. No changes, no other changes in line 2. Let's go to the third line. Cross out the A and replace it with C sharp diminished or C sharp diminished 7. C sharp diminished is a 2-finger chord. It is C sharp and G. It's always the letter plus 6. And if you play it as a 7, the diminished 7, it's C sharp, E elephant, G gorilla, and B flat, flat butterflies. Okay, that's it for changes on line 3. Line 4, I'm going to give you an optional change. First measure, second beat, in between the G and the E minor, you may put in an F sharp diminished, F sharp and B. Now, you could put in C diminished, which is, no, nope, I'm sorry, it's F sharp and C. F sharp and C. Now, why do I want you to put the F sharp on the bottom? Because the bottom note is where the bass comes out. And you want the bass to go G, F sharp, E. So why can't I just play F sharp? Because it won't sound. So you have to play G, F sharp diminished, E minor. Okay?
And I'm sorry, I missed, where is that?
That is on the last line of page 1. First measure, second beat, in between the G and the E minor. And it's optional. Do not need to do that. It's only for 1 count.
Thanks.
You are welcome. Top of the second page. We're still in the first ending. The D or D7 is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over that second rest. You're going to put a D augmented, Daug, D-A-U-G. And your notes are D dinosaur, F sharp, sharp fish, and B flat, flat butterflies. Technically it's an A sharp, but B flat.
I'm sorry, where is that?
That is on the second page, top line. We're still in the first ending, first measure.
Instead of the A?
Nope, we're still in the first measure.
Okay, my music's cut off.
First measure. You've got a D chord for the first two beats, and then the third beat right before choirs will be. Put a D augmented. D, F sharp, B flat, or A sharp, whichever one you read better. The second ending, no changes on that line. All right, no changes in chords on the rest of the page. I will add some other things, but not chords. Third page. Top line, second measure. Remember, I'm dividing that second measure into 2 measures. So you want to put a measure line. Okay? Put a no chord and a drum solo, right where your brand new measure line is. So you're going to play D7 for one whole measure, and no chord with a drum solo, which is a fill-in, for the second measure. Got it? Let's go to the third line.
So the
I'm sorry.
no chord,
The no
the no
card
chord.
chord.
I'm dividing on the top line of page 3. I am dividing that last measure, love, so won't you. I'm dividing that into 2 measures. So you got to just put a line and divide it. So the D7 is going to be for 4 counts. And then right where that measure line is, you're going to put a no chord. And you can do a drum solo or not. Drum solo is just doing the fill while you're doing the no chord. And that's for the next measure. And then your pickup notes will be so won't you, and then you come in to the second line.
Got it.
Okay? Third line, second measure. Cross out the A or A7 and replace it with C sharp diminished or C sharp diminished 7. The C sharp diminished is C sharp and G. The C sharp diminished 7 is C sharp, E, G, B flat. And that's
Do you
it for chords. Any
Would you re-
questions on chords?
Would you repeat the last one, please?
Line 3 of the third page. Second measure, cross out the A and replace it with C sharp diminished, chicken sharp diminished, or chicken sharp diminished 7. If you're playing the 2-fingered chord, it's C sharp and G. If you're doing the 4-fingered chord, it's C sharp, E, elephant, G, B flat.
Dawn, I have a question.
Okay?
Uh, Where you put in the extra measure on the third page, top line,
Uh-huh.
does the half rest coincide with where the old quarter rests were?
You in addition to. You have to
Oh,
put a half
okay.
rest in, you have to add a half rest to both measures.
So, okay, so it follows the first
Yeah,
measure
in
notes
addition
and it
to.
precedes the
Yeah,
new measure.
yes,
okay,
in
thank
addition
you.
to.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that you have 4 counts in each measure, and they're going to be all rests. The extra counts are all rests. But you're going to be doing something, so yeah. So let's do extra notes. Extra notes. Now, I wrote my extra notes at the beginning in the margins, and at the end, I also wrote extra notes in the margins. All right? So, how did I actually start the song? Well, you didn't even get a chance to see that. It's 4 notes. So you might want to write them, don't just write them across because you won't get it. G, kind of high. D, dinosaur, a little bit lower. Then the E, real close. And then down to a B. G, D, E, B. That's your intro. G, D, E, B. That's also your ending. Okay, let's go to the second page. When we get to second line, friends and relations, you're going to have chimes down here. Christmas chimes down there. And you're going to play them with your left hand, which means you're going to go from a chord and you're going to reach up with your left hand because you're playing stuff up here with your right hand. So if you don't feel like playing them, don't worry about it. Where do those notes go. Line 2, I'm on the second page, friends and relations. The third beat, which is by that second rest, I wrote LH G, left hand G. L dot H J H dot G. And you can circle it or put it in a rectangle if you want, just to remember, or highlight it. That's just your left hand coming up and playing a G up right here.
Can you put a fill in there instead or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do this.
Okay.
Where
Third
was that,
line.
Dawn?
Go ahead. Brenda, you had a question?
Yes. I
You're
can't,
cutting out on me.
yeah, I where that is.
Where is that? That's on.
Yes, not on me too, and I didn't catch. That's it.
Second line of the second page, friends and relations. You see where that is? Friends,
Yes.
friends and relations. Okay, where the lations is, third beat, you want to put the left hand G in beat 3, which is over that or under, wherever you want to put it, the quarter rest. The second one, beat 3. Third line, first measure. Over the half rest, which again is beat 3, you're going to put LHG, same thing. And you can play either one of them. Fourth line,
Oh,
second,
excuse me. What
yeah,
do we put in? What notes are we putting in there?
just a G, left hand
Oh,
G.
okay. Okay.
It's got to be, it can be any note that's in the chord, actually. So if you wanted to make them all C's, you could make them all C's too. Doesn't matter. It's just got to be a note that's in the chord that you just played. Line 4, second measure. Third beat. Over the word yes. Left hand C. Left hand
Good.
C. Why? Just to change it up a little bit. But it's a C chord, so it sounds good. So 2 like this, 1 like this, or here.
You're frozen.
I'm frozen.
No, not for me.
Oh.
You're
Uh-oh.
fine.
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Somebody else
Okay.
got frozen.
So it's a letter, it's a C, a low
Yep.
C, high C.
Either one, whichever one you can reach. And the fifth line, third beat, over the G for the word it's, you want to put left hand C. Always on the third beat, always. So you're going to do 4 bongs.
And that was a B.
No, that's
C.
a C. C, you're going to do 2 G's and 2 C's.
I just want to make sure you're paying attention.
Really, your trip. Now, let's go to the top of the third page. Where you have that first extra measure that we made. So top line, second measure. You're going to play the D7 chord, and then you're going to do left hand D, D, D. Beats 2, 3, and 4. So your right hand's on a rest. Left hand D, D, D in that measure, that one that we just wrote in.
Wouldn't that be the same time
dinosaur.
you're playing the G?
No, because you've got a D chord.
Right?
So you want one of the notes that it's in the D chord. So D is in the D chord, so you want to do D.
But I mean, you're doing it 3 times, but then you got G, A, B notes.
Yeah,
right
but you're
hand.
going to do a no chord. Remember?
Oh.
Now you're going right to a no chord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because those are pickup notes,
Oh, okay.
and then a drum solo. And you don't play the G until the first measure of line 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the second measure, the one that we wrote in. You're going to do the D7 that's there, and then you're going to reach up and go D, D, D. 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to come right back down here and do a no chord. And if you want, you can do the drum solo, which is doing the fill-in. Then do your pickup notes. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's go to the end of the page. The first time you play it, it's DS Alcoda with an L, because you're going to stay in the same preset, and you're just going to put your hand to the lower keyboard, go back and play your saxophone solo. And then you're going to go back to the upper keyboard when you go to the 2 coda. The second time at the end of the song, page 3, it's going to say second time, and I always just do 2x, stop. And you're just going to reach up and hit the stop button. You don't want to do a no chord, you want to completely stop. And then in the top keyboard, you're going to play, and you can do a C chord. Now the notes you need for a C chord, and you can do it with the left hand or the right hand, doesn't matter. E on the bottom, elephant, gorilla, chicken. E, G, C, and you're going to play it 2 or 3 times. And then the last chord is a G, and your notes are D dinosaur, G gorilla, B butterfly. And you can play them like strumming. And then you're going to play the 4 notes that you played at the beginning. But you're going to be on that piano sound. So it's going to copy exactly. You're going to start and end the song the exact same way. So at the end, you're going to, I have top keyboard, C, 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 G. But you want to play the full fingered chords. And you can do it with either hand, doesn't matter. Or mix and match. Again, the notes are E, G, and C for the C chord, and D, G, B for the G chord. Got it? How we doing on time? Okay, I have time to play it one more time. Oh, I still got to tell you where the changes are. D, G, B, yep. No, you're not on any chord. You're on a G chord. D, G, B is an inverted G chord. Then you're going to play what you played at the beginning. The G, well, only you're going to play it with a piano. And that's going to end the song while you're holding that chord. Okay? It's easy to do. You just got to notate it so you can remember what you did. Okay, here's your crazy presets. A1 starts the song. A2 is at the end of the first ending on the second page. So top line, right where the choirs will be. You want to put A2 right there. A3 is on the second page. Second line, and you play the bridge. So right before friends and relations, you want to put A3. That's the bridge.
Dawn,
Yeah.
right there at the bridge, when you put A3, to the left of that is the G7. Did you want that played?
Yeah, I don't even play it sometimes. I just go to A3.
Okay.
Yeah. That G7 is completely optional.
Okay.
Yep.
Good question.
Yeah, it is. You can play it before, after, or don't play the G7 at all. Who cares?
Right.
It's totally optional. Let's go to the third.
Hey, will Robert have these the presets listed for us?
I will give you the sheet that I did,
Okay,
but as far as where I have them, no, you'll have to go to Patreon and redo if you're not getting them right now.
okay. So we can send a message to you to send the message to us. Okay, okay. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yep. Third page, second line. Or, so won't you tell me? You want to make sure A4 starts that second line. Third page, second line. It's actually the end of the first line, but you probably already have so much stuff written up there already.
Right.
So won't you tell me? Right before you get to that tell me, you want to make sure you go to A4 before you hit that G chord.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, where's A5? I do have an A5. A5 is back on page 1. And you just have to remember the only time you're going to go to A5 is when you go to the coda.
Oh, uh-huh.
So if you write it on that first page right before the to coda, and that should be a color, you want to do A5U. So you go back to the upper keyboard. Okay? And you
Dawn,
only
would you
play that
do
the
A2?
last time. Question.
Yeah,
David.
I'm sorry. Dawn, could you do A2 again?
A2 is at the end of the first ending on the second page. Top line, where your repeat dots go backwards.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay, so
A3 and A4.
A3 is second page, second line, friends and relations. Right there when you do friends and. Right there.
Okay.
You can do it right on. You can wait until you hit the C chord. I actually do it right before I do friends and, because you're going into a whole new rhythm, by the way. All right,
Okay.
so what am I doing that's so different and mishmash? Well, ballads, 50s love songs, 64 beats per minute with the alter style. Rhythm preset or vintage number 1 gives you a 50s guitar and a saxophone on the bottom. Well, we're going to change that saxophone to that society piano.
Oh,
Okay? This is the hardest part of the instrument. You're going to come up with Genius 1 and 2 on the red with the lower right on. You want to make sure that you turn off the lower right, turn off Genius 2, turn back on Genius 1 so that your Genius 1 goes to the upper. Then you want to turn on your society piano and send it to the lower right with the lower octave on. And that's all here.
mhm.
Now, if you're on a Marquis or an Inspire or a Rialto, it's a lot easier because it's sound. You just turn them off and on and tell them where you want to go. And it's a lot easier. It's from the Liberty on down that you've got all of this stuff. And if you struggle with that, call me, email me, come on in and see me. We'll figure it out. Because once you take command of your instrument, you can design your own sounds. But this should help. This should help.
Dawn,
Uh-huh.
where did you put A4 in?
A4 is on page 3, the third page. So won't you tell me, second line.
Mhm.
Beginning of the second line.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So what did I change? Here's A1. Here's what A1 does. And you want to just play that with no rhythm. Then your pickup notes, you're on a no chord, so you don't play anything. First ending. Okay, now we're going to go to the second. So listen to what's going on that's different. Oh, lots of stuff going on in the lower chord. So I'm adding a lot of tabs, and I'm actually putting a guitar sound in the lower genius. I am adding the orchestra plus, but I'm only including orchestra plus 1. So I have to go into my edit style and turn off 2, 3, and 4. If I had them all on, it would sound like this. Shoot. Choirs, yep. Choirs will be, yep. So I don't want the sax and the flute. I don't want the backup singers. I just want, on edit style, it's going to say Genie piano and orc plus 1 guitar. And then you're going to add all these others. Why? Because the Eagles come in and start going, ooh, and you want to make sure they're there. So that's where they are. They're in that lower chord going ooh. So choirs will be singing, and that's on A2. Lots of guitar, and that's in the left-hand chord. Second ending. Okay, now A3 we are going to the bridge. So what are we doing in A3? Listen to the change. Oh, I changed rhythms. Totally changed rhythms. I am going to the life, L.I.F.E. life, with the alter style. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to press A1, or I mean A2, and then when you change the rhythm, your sounds and your setup should all stay the same. You don't want to go to life and have everything change. So you're going to have to press the last one you were on, which was A2. And then change your rhythm over here, and then all your sounds, that should stay the same. And actually, that's going to stay the same because, well, no, I have to change it. That's going to be a saxophone. So now you're going to have to go in and do some changing. And I'm telling you exactly what to do. You're going to take off some of the stuff. The Eagles have stopped singing. Don Henley's still singing here. Your guitar player's still going. So now, that was too low. Do the high one. Turn the page. No chord. And then you wanted to do those ding dings. Then you're going to do a no chord drum solo and do the pickup. Now, you're going to A4. So now you're going back to your 50s love songs. So what you're going to do is you're going to press A2 again, and you're going to do some more edit of style, turn some stuff on and off, and you're going to add a golden harp. I want you to listen for the golden harp. It's another guitar. It's going to be on a guitar pattern, and it's going to be at a rate of 1 beat per, 1 note per beat. So listen to what that one does. Hear it? 1 per beat. It's a guitar player just picking a note. And that just gives a nice extra change to your background, to your band. And you're going to start third page, So Won't You Tell Me. All right, the first time you're going to go back to the beginning and just put your hand on the lower keyboard. Now right here, you're going to go over to A5 and put your hand on the upper keyboard. Coda. Now you're going to hit stop. And your chords. And then
That's pretty.
all right, so do you have to go to the
Very
other
pretty.
rhythm? If you don't want to go to the life rhythm, you can just stay on 50s love songs and just play the song. Because as you notice, Don Henley never changed. His guitar stayed on that upper keyboard. I just did changes to the background edit style, golden harp, lower tabs. I did a lot of that kind of stuff. So do you have to do any of that? No. But it will help you to learn where stuff on your organ is. Oh, and I changed up the bass player the last time too. So the bass player
Dawn?
started doing a little more. Yeah.
On the worksheet,
Mhm.
A4, you say press A2 and then put in all the changes.
Yep.
But you were
have to do
talking,
that. You also have to do that, and I forgot to write it in. You
right,
also
okay,
have to do that right before A3.
A3, okay.
The
I
first
put
thing
it
you have
in
to do
there.
is press A2. And then when
Got
you
it.
go to A4, you're going to have to press A2 again, which means if it's already on A2 because you're going in order, turn off A, turn it back on, turn off 2, turn it back on.
Right.
Okay,
Okay? That's why I said it's kind of a mishmash. So you're going to have to
Okay.
do a little bit of experimenting with it. And I know there's an easier way to get around all of this, but it was 5 o'clock last night. I was still typing.
Well, it is beautiful. I mean, I was in there and you played it, I had chills. It's so pretty.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've never taught this before. I'm glad we did it because I kind of like this arrangement.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
pretty.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Andy says it's all right. Okay,
I
we
think
still.
I think it needs to be sung.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Have you
actually,
ever
Sing it
tried
for
it?
us.
I have
Play it
never
and sing
tried
it for
singing
us.
this.
Yeah.
Play it
Yeah.
and sing it. Do it.
Oh, not right now because I
Yeah.
don't know what key it's in for me. So, you know what? I will, though, if we do a Christmas concert on Zoom or even here just in the store, I'm going to throw this one in and I will sing it.
Good. Okay, we're
Okay?
gonna hold you to that.
Okay, that's a deal. I do like the song.
Dawn, one more question.
Yeah.
On the first page, last line, first measure, you added a chord after the G in between
Yes.
the E minor. What was that?
F sharp diminished.
Okay,
It's
thanks.
F sharp and C. Now, the reason I did that is so that the F sharp comes in the bass, because what you're looking for is you want the bass player to go. Timothy B. Schmidt has to be doing his bass, but the only way to do that is to get it in the right spot for the chords.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right.
Let me ask,
next,
let me ask about next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, class as usual. We are going to do, and it's not in the 4th edition, but it is in the 5th edition, We Need a Little Christmas.
That's a fun one.
Okay?
When is this?
That's next Wednesday's song.
Oh,
So it gives you
okay.
time to try to find it. And if you don't have it, email me and I'll make sure I scan it to you.
That's a super song.
Yeah. I'll take the soup, please.
It's from
Super
Maine,
song.
right? He's from Maine.
That's from Maine, yes. Yeah. Yep. So we're going into a whole different style.
So that's the day before Thanksgiving.
That's the day before Thanksgiving. We will be having class. So any of you who are home cooking already, make sure you stop and tune in. Stop and tune in, because we'll
Will
do something
do.
fun. Okay, now let's do scheduling again too. This Friday, for those of you who like to come to the Friday class, I'm on a bye, which means no class this Friday for my regular 11 o'clock Zoom. But that's because Miranda is going to do a concert at 2:30 in the afternoon Florida time, and she's going to do groovy 60s and 70s. So that's going to be your instead of thing to do on Friday. Monday, I'm also on a bye. Why? Because he's got Carrie doing a variety class at 2:30. I think it's 2:30. Normally my class on Monday is 2 o'clock, so it'll just be a little half hour later, and he's going to do a 2:30. He's going to show you all his favorite tips and tricks. By the way, if you have not signed up yet, and David, I will call you. I ran out of time yesterday. Your virtual holiday music camp. All right, it's all of us. It's all your favorite Fletcher artists. We're going to give you stuff like this, but you're going to get all 6 of us. Not only are you going to get all 6 of us giving you our favorite songs and our favorite setups and give you some tips and tricks on how to make holiday sounds, you're also going to get a USB stick with a concert of all of our songs. You're also going to get all the printed materials and a private recording. It's not going on Patreon. So the people that have paid their money, they will get private link to a recorded session, so that if you have to miss 1 or 2 of the sessions, you can go back in and pick them up. Or if you want to go back in and review, you can go back in and review. And it doesn't matter who you call, because we do not get credit for signing people up. This is just a big Fletcher family thing. So you can sign up with anybody. Sign up with anybody and just get signed up. Because all of the information goes to Robert anyway. So yeah, just make sure you get signed up. It's going to be some fun stuff and some great songs. All righty. Any questions before we do fingering? Nope. For the rest of it, we don't
Thank
need
you,
to-
Dawn. I
Thank
happen to
you.
have the
you.
5th edition, so I got that song.
Ah, all right. You guys are the bestest. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Dawn.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dawn.
Don.
All right, we will do fingering. Here we go. B2, D4, E5, E5, D4, E5, D4, B3. Second line, B3, A2, G1, D5, B flat 3, B flat 3, A2, G1. Check mark if you wish. I'm going to switch finger position. G3, E1, A4. Next line, A4, G3. Check mark in the rest. You're going to switch finger positions. G2, 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 B4, A3, G2, B4, A3, B4. Next line, A3, G2, E1, G2, A3, B4, A3, G2, G2, A3, B4, top of the next page, B4, A3. Your pickup notes, E3, E3, G5. Now, when you come back to your dots, you're going to have to put a little 3 on top of the E on page 1 and a little 2 on top of the D. That's for the second time. You are going to have to switch fingers the second time. All right, let's go to the second ending, the second page, second measure, Christmas. B4, A3, G2, G2, A3, B4, A3, G2. Check mark if you wish. G1, A2, G1. D can be 5 or 4. C can be 4 or 3, whichever's comfortable. G1, A2, G1. Third line, D can be 5 or 4, whichever one gets there first. C can be 4 or 3. Sure as the stars, E5, D4, B2. E5, D4, D4, B2, D4, B3, A2, G1, G1, A2, G1. D can be 5 or 4, C can be 4 or 3. Then we do D5, D5, C4, D5. Last line on that page, D5, G1, check mark, G2, E flat 1, G2, A3. My fingering's on this page. Okay. Third page, B4, A3, G2, A3, B4, A3, G2, B4, B4, A3, G2, A3, B4. Your pickup notes are G5, E3, G5. Next line, D2, E3, D2. Little check mark if you want. E5, D4, E5. D4, B2, A1. B3, A2, G1. Or whatever finger gets there first. That works too. High E5, D4, E5. B flat 2, G1. A3, E1, A3, G2, E1, G2, A3, G2, B4, A3, G2, B4, A3, B4, A3, G2, E1, G2, A3, B4, A3, G2, E5, B3, A2, G1, A2, B3, A2, and G1. Questions?
Yeah, Dawn, when you came back on, where was that?
Yeah, first ending. Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you do there? The first three notes?
The first three notes, or the pickup notes at the end of the first ending on page 2 are E3, E3, G5. But when you come back to singing, you can't do E5, D4, which is what we did the first time. So you have to write a little 3 above the E and a little 2 above the D, and that's for the second time only.
And E is 5 then.
And then the next E would be 5 for silent.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome. Fun song. I can't believe that I've been teaching here at Fletcher Music Centers for 26 years and never did this song before. Yep, this one got away from me, but you know what? I like it. I like it. You guys are the bestest. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you very much.
Email me if you have any questions. I'm here for you.
Okay, thank you.